Dub,
production.
you started out in Buffalo, second round draft pick. 2 years later, you're traded to Philadelphia. What was that like for you?
It was different, especially being so young in my career.
Yeah.
And like, I wasn't used to really switching teams like that. FSU, I was there my 3 years. And when I got to Buffalo, I felt as though I was going to be there like all my years. So once the new coaching came in and then the trade happened, like it was just shocking. Like it shocked me a lot. But once I heard it was Philly, I was like, okay, that's not that bad.
Right.
I'm closer to home, a big team, great market. So I was just like, I'm just gonna go out there and compete.
A lot difference between Buffalo, New York, and Philadelphia, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot different. Buffalo fans, they die hard now. Like they used to fill the stadium up, but Philly fans, they all over. And whether it's out and about, social media, they like a lot more involved when it comes to like, especially social media.
Right. And Buffalo, you're right, it's completely different. You get to Philadelphia, was that a tough adjustment, adjusting to Philadelphia and all the things you're talking about?
Yeah, it was very tough for me, like getting traded as late as I did as well. Like, we was going into our second preseason game.
Right.
And that's when I got traded here, so I had to like try to get up to pace with like a lot of the guys out there. The way they practice, our practice pace was a lot different in Buffalo than it was here. On top of learning the plays, learning how the safeties like to play, learning where my help at, and like getting into the type of shape of playing man like 90% of the time. Again, like a lot of the times, like when we got the new coaches in Buffalo, it was more of a zone scheme. Mm-hmm. So I had to get back into that. So it was a lot.
Tell me about your feelings about that, man versus zone. What do you like?
You just knowing, man, like it's a lot more technical. Like zone, when you're in zone, it's a few things you gotta worry about. Like, okay, if this guy go here, I don't have to worry about that. That's not me.
Right.
If he does this, all I have to worry about is this, this, and that. So when you in zone, there's like three things you have to worry about. Compared to man, you gotta worry about everything.
So you come in last year, you get injured, you miss 8 games. How was the offseason preparing, after, especially you win a Super Bowl, mm-hmm. Then how was the offseason getting ready for this season for you?
I told myself I wasn't gonna have, well, we didn't have anyway, a long offseason, but I just told myself I was gonna get back into it like right away. I wasn't gonna take that much time off, continuing to celebrate the Super Bowl win. I was gonna get back to grinding. So that's what I did. Like I took about the rest of February off, I want to say, after the Super Bowl. And then right in March, I was back training again.
So I noticed how you're not bashful at all about coming up, tackling, and putting a stick on guys when they catch the ball. Tell me this, if it's 3rd and 6, would you rather make a stop on an out cut or drive on a quick screen and make the tackle at the line of scrimmage?
Stop on the out cut.
You like that?
That count as I could either, pick or break the ball up on the out cut. Quick screen, I come up and do it. It's still a big play, you celebrate, but like stop, I feel like the stop on the out cut or, it's a lot.
I watch how aggressive you guys are in the secondary, and how important is that part of it for you, making those stops and be counted on to make tackles?
It's very important, guys rely on us. There's a lot of the times when the guys up front, like our D-line, make a big play for us, and we rely on them to do that for us, especially with the deeper routes downfield, when they could get in there and cause pressure, even to get the quarterback off their spot, to throw the ball to make a mistake. Like we rely on that, so they rely on us as well.
You had Julio, Mohamed Sanu last week. Does it get any easier?
Nah, each week is a battle, and like even if teams that don't have the, big quote unquote big name receivers,
yeah,
they more than capable of doing the same thing. Like them guys getting paid too. So you gotta come, that's one thing about corner, you gotta come each week locked in. Same as receiver, like
right.
At one time you're not locked in, you'll make mistakes, drop passes, just anything. You gotta be locked in each week.
You've got Mike Evans, you've got Deshaun Jackson, you've got Chris Godwin. You got a bunch of receivers that can do a lot in that secondary that you're going to face this week. How do you prepare for a game like this with so many different weapons?
The same way I've been preparing through camp, through week 1 last year. It's the same preparation.
Well, what is that preparation?
Just working your technique, practicing hard for one. You can't be lackadaisical through practice, and learning from your mistakes. You want to make the mistakes in practice so you don't in the game.
So you mentioned technique. That's interesting because I've heard your coach talk about your improvement in your technique. Tell me a little bit about that.
Technique, to me, technique all comes with confidence, to be honest. Like, you gotta have confidence in yourself and your abilities. Like, it's easy to be out there by yourself, staying squared in your back pedal when you're doing drills. But when you got a guy that run 4-3, 4-4 running straight at you, people tend to hurry up and try to open. But if you're just confident in your technique, just reading your cues and knowing where your help is and things like that, you'll be able to make a lot of plays.
Darby, you made the play on the final play of the game against the Atlanta Falcons. Take us through that play. Was that a stack set that you were facing?
Yeah.
Take us through that play.
It was a stack set, and at the time, I believe Sidney and Rod was working together at the time. So Rod was helping with anything going inside. So, they came out, hiked the ball, and then they did the release. And I seen him stemming, of course, stemming out towards me. And I didn't want to be extra aggressive just to try to hurry up and, run to him.
Right.
Because the way he was set up, he could have tried to whip back in. I could have got anything.
They had a switch on the release, and didn't he line up number 2?
Yeah, he was inside. And when they switched, he came out to me.
Right. So
my thing was I didn't want to be too aggressive with trying to run straight out to him. Because I could have got a follow route, anything.
Right.
So I was just staying, like I said, technique, stand square, reading them. Then when I seen him look back, got shoulder, I tried to get to his shoulder, and I seen the ball, but then the ball kind of went into the lights. So I kind of lost it for a second. But I was I might just still play it. And when I see him go up, I went up with him, tried to get my hand on it. And after that, I kind of see from the photos my leg was out, and I felt like that had something to do with how he was falling back, and just went to the ground. I tried to play through the ground, found he was out of bounds, got up and celebrated.
You're going to have similar type receivers, these big guys, Mike Evans, 6'5". How do you handle guys like that?
Just gotta play aggressive. When the bigger guys, of course they're not gonna be as fast and as quick as the smaller guys.
Yeah.
But you just gotta play aggressive. That's the best way I could say. You gotta be aggressive because they gonna be aggressive downfield. They like to, shove off a lot on their routes. They like to muscle through everything. And we got a bigger guy, for instance, Alshon. Mm-hmm. Same type of guy. You just gotta play aggressive.